We'll go ahead and call the July the 26th, 2010 Public Safety Committee to order, and I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of last month.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion is carried. First on the agenda is the Laverne Rescue Squad, and I think you've got the report in front of you on the desk.
How are y'all?
Good, you all right?
Doing all right. Dana regrets that he can't be here tonight. Both of his children got orientation for school, so he sent me down here to hash this out and answer any questions that I can, and the ones I can't, I'll direct to him and get that information back to you.
The orientation is called a blue light special.
On your report here, it says vehicle accident for 72. I guess that's for the second quarter, of which 36 were county calls.
My understanding of that is the 36 of the 72 were on the interstate.
Okay.
And that is the combined number for the quarter.
Okay.
I got the breakdown on the other pages behind that.
Okay.
Water related, I've never seen that many. You got 13 on one month and 12 on another. Are y'all getting that many calls this year?
Well, I believe when we go back, we're looking water related, we got 12 in the month of May, mainly for the flood.
Okay. Makes sense.
There's the quarter.
Anybody else have any questions on the Burns report?
How many EMTs have y'all's department got?
Right off the top of my head, I can confirm 4 that I know. I do believe there may be 1 or 2 more, but I know of 4 right off the top of my head. Actually, that'd be 3 EMTs and 1 paramedic.
Anybody else?
You got a new truck during this quarter too, didn't you?
Yeah, process for that, but it's up and running and looks nice.
Anybody else? If not, I entertain a motion.
Motion approved?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank y'all.
Thank you very much.
Will tax officer report, and I think you've got that on your desk. And I think you marked it in, what, 2 months here?
Yes, sir. Last month and this month. Sorry, I was out of town last month. I really didn't get the message that bad. So,
Yeah, I think we changed the
Yeah.
date.
you did. Chairman, I don't have any questions. Be glad to answer any questions. I'll try to answer anything you have.
I got one, it was asked to me on the school situation as far as are the schools gonna do like they did last year?
Yes, sir. We've kind of changed the form a little bit to ease it a little bit, just to tag numbers and stuff, where it's easier on both clerks. We've asked to do that. I talked to Angel at the school board, she's up with it, and I talked to Mr. Gill this weekend, and he's all for it and ready to go.
Okay,
So
so
that'll start coming in next month, I hope.
all right. Anybody have any questions? Mark?
On the July, I didn't get Nissan's, what they turned in, but it is, if you'll see that all 3 of them are increases, and their figures are in this, but I just didn't have it broke down, what they anticipated this month.
Bart, is that what most of the increase is for?
Yes, sir.
Based on this?
Well, no, sir, no, sir. But their increase is figured in this 31,864.50, yeah. I try to break that down, what they come from every month, but we just hadn't got it so far. Been trying to spend some time at the convenience centers. Mac Nolan came out with a kind of a form letter that in each convenience center is what we take, what we don't take, and what you can bring, you know, and the attendants are giving that out to people that come in there that's got something we don't take, you know, and I think it's working real well. It's made some of mine easier, but, you know, we still got a far piece to go, but I feel it's working. Hope it is.
Anybody? Go ahead.
Just for my short-term memory, how about mentioning again the procedure with the schools? Is my understanding that they turn in and write down who it is that's got out-of-county tags when they bring children?
Yes, and let's say, school board is asking them, when they register in school, they bring 2 identifications, water bill, electric bill, or registration, you know. Before they'll issue them a parking pass or parking where they can park on the school property, those have to be registered in Rutherford County. We'll start getting them probably mid-August, end of August, and turn it in. It goes to school board first, and then it comes to us.
I thought they were requiring them to submit that they're a vehicle registration.
That's what they did last time. So this time, we're requiring that be one of the documents.
So they don't have to do, say they bring a water bill and electric bill, they don't have to bring a,
We want their registration.
well, if that's the case, we ought to require it.
Well, that's what we did in this time.
Oh, did
We're starting with that this time.
Oh, okay, so this is gonna be required,
If
okay.
it's required this
I
time,
apologize.
we're trying to make it uniform for every school where it's the same. You know, everybody has the same form, you know. And like I said, that makes it a lot easier on each one of the clerks when they have to start running these tag numbers. We can run tag numbers that quick, but we got to search it by name, it's a different problem.
Right.
You know.
Right. Anybody else? Entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
And a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Jim. You're not gonna change it on me next month, eh?
Huh?
You're not gonna change it on me next month. Time, sorry.
Hey,
Okay.
fourth Monday of August.
Okay, thank you, I'll put that.
All right.
It'd be smart if I can.
Juvenile detention report.
Good evening.
How you doing?
I also have passed out my report ahead of time.
Yeah, I think it's, here it is.
And on the meeting notice, it said that I had 1 contract. Since the notice went out, I actually got 2 more, so I have a total of 3 tonight.
All right.
Thank you.
What you have in front of you is the usual report for the month of June, so it kind of wraps up our fiscal year. Don't have anything necessarily unusual. Have 3 counties that are outstanding on payment. I don't expect for that to be a problem, and when they pay, then we will balance out for the year.
Lynn, did they have to pay any interest when they're late like that?
These particular counties aren't really late. It's a situation where when we bill and when we have the meeting, there's a gap. So by the time we come, you know, actually we'll probably get the checks either this week or next week, and then by the time we have our next meeting, they'll be caught up. So they're not actually considered late. They just haven't cleared prior to public safety.
The only one that really has ever been late for the years has been, at one time, was the state of Tennessee.
That's correct.
We didn't charge him no interest.
That was a major ordeal in and of itself.
Well, they got the act straightened up.
But I'd be happy to answer any other questions as far as the report is concerned.
Any questions on the report?
Just the 321,000, how's it compare with last year? Do you, off the top of your head,
I
remember?
didn't bring that.
I would think, isn't this the first full, is this the first full year since we raised the
Yes.
rate? So we would think it would be
Well,
high.
it's close to a full year, but yes. I'll find that out for you for next month.
Okay.
Hopefully it's gone.
Your female population looks like it's growing and male population kind of dropping, it looks like. What are you seeing with the females? I mean, reason why they're in there.
They actually both ebb and tide. For example, today, we have a population of 45, so there's really no rhyme or reason. We could have We generally have a third female population, regardless of what it is. Generally, it's a third of whatever population we have is going to be females. I think they've actually pretty much stayed the same since we've started. This particular year was slightly unusual as far as our populations, but it comes and goes.
Motion to approve the report.
Got a motion, got a second? And a second. Discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Got the contract.
I also have tonight 3 counties that are wishing to contract with us. One of them is Carroll County, the second is Hickman County, and the third is Chester County. And generally, the way that we've handled this in the past is it starts with this committee and then moves forward.
So the contract is $175 per
Yes,
day.
there's nothing different. It's $175 a day, just like everyone else. These are new counties that have not ever contracted with us before.
To kind of let the viewing public know, it's just, we're not asking to bring in here, people from out of county, and just to, incarcerate them. This actually helps us pay the bills. And like you showed a while ago, $321,000 this last year to help offset some of our budget.
Right. Obviously, Rutherford County children always take precedent. We accept out-of-county kids based on if we have empty beds. And if we have empty beds, we will fill them with a paying customer.
We also can refuse, say, a high-profile case. if we can.
Absolutely. We have complete control as to who we accept or don't accept.
So with these contracts, then they keep our detention center pretty close to full capacity.
I wouldn't say that. It's beneficial to be able to have a paying customer and an empty bed. I don't know that at any given point, I would say they fill us up. Counties can contract with numerous facilities, so that if you call one and they say, no, we don't want to accept that child for whatever reason, then they have other options. So because we have these contracts doesn't mean that they don't contract with other facilities as well. It just gives them options.
Okay.
Motion approved.
Got a motion and a second. I discussed on contract.
Yes. I'd like to put just the only reason on the contract is I read the one from Hickman County, the little letter they sent, and they used the term county mayor for Stephen Gregory of Hickman County, and our form just has county executive on it. I'd just like to see that changed. Huh?
You sound like Jim Daniels.
No, but I mean, it kind of comes out that way. It doesn't really matter to me. I like county executive better, but I remember why they changed it. But could we is there any problem with changing that to county mayor?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's not for us anyway.
Right.
We could do a and/or.
Okay.
All right. Any more questions? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, is that it?
That's it
All
for
right,
me.
thank you.
Thank you.
OSHA report, and it's on the desk.
You have the June report in front of you. In the month of June, we had 11 injuries requiring medical attention. You can see the breakout there. For the year to date, we've had a total of 101. Of that 101, there were 62 that were OSHA recordable. 19 of them had restricted days. 22 had lost claim days or lost days, and then 23 were other reportables. The next page will kind of give you an idea of the graph. If you look at that, we have got a downhill trend going right now, and that is actual trend. We are running behind as far as, I shouldn't say behind, I guess it's actually ahead of where we were last couple of years. Our claims are down. Just to let you know also, we have a little bit of a report to add or tell you about. We had reported couple months ago, we were going to go back to the Board of Education. We were going to do some additional training because we'd seen a spike come in the month of May and June as a result of where the Board of Education was doing some stripping of the floors. And Tim went out and did some training with that, and he's going to talk about training tonight for a short few minutes. But went out and did some training, came back, and then when the custodians started doing that stripping of the floors and all during the month of May and June, and we had our first injury, we jumped on that, contacted all the lead custodians, reminded them about the training. In the past, in the month of May and June, we had 13 injuries strictly just contributed to stripping of the floors where they slipped and fell. As a result of the training we did and the follow-up this year, that 13 had been cut to 2 in the month of May and June. And now that the Board of Education has all completed that, I think we can safely say we've cut those injuries from the Board of Ed for that stripping injury by somewhere around 80% or more. So just let you know that. As far as for the total of the dollars incurred for those 11 injuries, for the month of June, that's $14,867. The Board of Education had 5 injuries for a total incurred dollars of $10,247, and the County General had 6 claims for a total of $4,620, and that's the breakdown as far as the injuries are concerned. What I'd like to do now is just kind of turn it over to Tim Street here for a few minutes. He wants to talk about the newsletter and some of the training that we've been doing and where we're going to.
Been on board for about a year now, and when I came on board, I had a couple of goals and worked with Dan, and things have been pretty smooth, and everybody's been working well with some of the changes that we've done. And this was one of them. We kind of introduced safety flashes, a monthly safety flash. Started, I think, around October timeframe last year, and this was another one we added. It was just one of the tools we use for safety awareness, and kind of puts a different spin on it, something else in front of the folks. We can address any of the trends. At the time last year, slips, trips, and falls was leading the way pretty much every quarter, almost every month, so we've really hit that pretty hard and put a different spin on the training, some behavior-based training. And also we're going to be starting in October, we're going to introduce a 2-page health and safety newsletter, adding Board of Ed as one. We're going to give them some space there for them to address some of their safety issues. Again, with the safety award, we started that as well, and it's going smooth. Liberty Mutual has stepped up on board and provided us a really nice plaque to give to our winners. So we're excited about all these things, and I think it's been helping. Obviously, you can kind of look at the stats. I'd like to say a lot of it's that part of it. It's not necessarily what I've done. It's just the awareness that all the supervisors and managers they're allowing these things to go through and the tools to be used. So we're excited to see that. And part of that training, the Board of Ed, they let me come out in March and talk with all the lead custodians, and we simply just talked about standard operating procedures and supervisor observations, and it seemed to help. I know that we did the little blitz once we got our first injury. We kind of took a blitz there, and with the principals, with all the lead custodians again. So it was good to see that number go from 13 to 2 this year. Last thing I was going to cover, what I've done since I've been on board too is I've been tracking some of the training. I know they started back, what was it, about 2008, and we kind of looked at some of the topics, and when I came on board, we changed a little bit of it. We had it for the Board of Ed, they're on the semester schedule, and then the County General, we're on the quarterly schedule. Kind of helps out with the Board of Ed, lets them pretty much go the first semester before their deadline approaches. And since we've started that time difference and I guess a deadline on the training, you can kind of see starting July of last year, that was our first time to really jump out there and do it, and we've had a steady increase in participation, which again, this participation from a training aspect, it also, it's going to generate that extra safety awareness, and that's really what we feel has been a big factor in reducing a lot of the claims and even some of the reports. So
we've just been very encouraged with what the county employees have taken on to the training. I mean, when we started out with Nicole doing the training, coming in, developing the training and bringing it, and you know, about a year and a half ago, we started bringing that on board, and it's been picking up every year, and we've just had increased participation. I mean, the Board of Ed, to think that we have that many employees, 90% of the Board of Education completing that, and 8% of the county still being able to get online and do it and complete the training and all, that's a lot of awareness. And I think all of that and the supervisor participation and help is leading us to where we're going on some of these numbers and all. So I just wanted to thank all the county supervisors and managers and everything, and what they're doing to support the program, so. And,
All right. And also all the county employees for being safety conscious.
absolutely, absolutely. The awareness is the thing, and, you know, we just want to continue to talk it up. And Tim touched on the safety awards, but we've opened up that safety award so that the nominations are not just from the supervisors, but if you're a county employee and you see somebody in your department or something that should be recognized for safety, then they can put them in themselves, and we'd love to get nominations that way. And it's we're going to be sending out an email with the next one. You're going to see a very nice awards plaque, I guess is what it is, that Liberty Mutual has. It's super nice, and so we want to recognize the employees. We've come a long way with it, and we're going to do some more things. So.
All right, sounds good. Anybody have any questions?
You know, just your stats right here, about slip, trips, and falls. They cost 15% of all accidental deaths. I just wanted to share with y'all, I talked to Dave Thomas that handles the animal crematory in Laverne, and I just ran into him today and said, hey, how you doing? How's your family? He said, my wife fell and broke her neck, and she tripped off their steps, and she's okay now, but you know, you gotta take this stuff seriously. I didn't know that it's a second cause of death of the motor vehicles. Pretty amazing.
I will tell you that we're getting ready. I hesitated to bring this up because we're getting ready to go into a new blitz, but because of all the floors being waxed and everything at the schools, when you start and look at the schools as far as the new school year coming in, the very first thing, the highest thing they have is slip, trips, and falls. And when you go back and look at them, you say, why are all the slip, trip, and falls? Because they just waxed the floors, and now they got water on the floor. They're just like glass, and lo and behold, water on a freshly waxed floor gives us no problem. So we're getting ready to approach that just in the next week or so. We're getting ready to do the same thing as we did with the custodians, with the teachers and the Board of Ed, and send out blitzes to all the teachers and tell them about slip, trips, and falls from freshly waxed floors and water on the floors. So.
Anybody else?
What do you do when you go in to train the people who are doing the stripping of the floors?
This was the first time I've really got a chance to meet with them. And it was all the lead custodians, so I had an opportunity to ask them really what their procedures were and find out if there were standard operating procedures in place. Because typically, as we investigate, as I looked at some of the injuries, you'll find out that people weren't following standard operating procedures. They're standing in the stripper compound, and it's as slick as oil on ice. Really, there's no other way to describe it. And that's what we talked about, was there's a process of buffing or stripping and waxing the floor where you're always standing in on a dry ground. And we simply talked about that. And the big thing was supervisor observations, because everybody gets in a hurry. Shortcuts are really the name of the game. And that's really what we did. That blitz was simply to do that. Hey, you guys have started this, and I let them kind of call you guys call the shots. You make the observations that you need to make, and I think I let them run with it from there. But that was the main approach.
Well, it surely must have worked well.
Yeah.
It did. We were very pleased with the results. I mean, to go from 13 to, or last year, an average of 10 in the last 3 years, down to 2 in 1 year. It's fantastic.
Well, when you look at those numbers, the supervisor, if the employee gets hurt, the supervisor's going to have to grab the buffer. So some incentive there as well.
Anybody else? Entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
And a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Thank y'all. Ambulance service report. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks.
Bill, any?
We made 1,605 calls in the month of June, up a little bit over the prior fiscal years. Response time 7.5 minutes, and we had 24 coroner's calls. We billed $1,008,000, collected $389,000. That put our year-to-date collections at $5,234,616. So that's the projection, and actual's the same thing for that year. We had insurance write-offs of $296,447, collection agency write-offs $97,100, and county and related write-offs of $12,991.
Mike,
Yes, sir.
Gary, I want all of you to please make note, and probably did. He's increased his yearly collections about 10% this year, and I think they deserve some real recognition for doing a great job there. Some other things are in place to even improve that again, so that they're really doing a good job with that.
Yeah, I was looking at that amount billed for this month versus last year, and then you look at it, last year was 4.6 collected and 5.2 million this year. That's what, that's about $800,000 more. Doing a good job over there, whoever's doing the collecting.
Well, what I noticed was the response time was lower than what it was in '08 and '09, and that's gonna save my life. But, good job on keeping that response time down. That's, you know, the way our traffic's increased and everything else going on. I mean, you guys are doing a good job there.
Those are two things that we concentrate on quite a bit.
Yeah, had roughly 50 more calls this month than last year at the same time.
The table at the bottom of the page is the operating cost for ambulances as well as repairs and so forth, and the hot weather and the age of our fleet kind of showed up there, but we have the 4 new ambulances that are getting ready to go online this week, and I think that'll look better. We drove a total of 30,378 miles. We had 306 out-of-zone calls.
Do y'all have an estimated, when it goes out of zone, what the estimated response time is when that happens?
We don't keep up with that, but, you know, common sense would tell you it's going to be more, just simply because occasionally, like for instance, if we have an ambulance out of zone, we'll move another one halfway in between to kind of make it as good as we can.
Yeah, because you don't never know where that call's going to go in that territory.
We have several different in-services and training, and they're listed there for you. The REACT team was fairly busy this month, and the SORT team was real busy. Following page is a breakdown for response times and number of calls for the ambulance stations. Nothing new there. That trend is kind of, seems like it's set in stone. We're kind of anxious to see what happens to Burton Street when the new hospital opens, to see if that makes any difference at all. You don't think it would, but it could. We'll see.
How in depth, the new hospital, how in depth is the ambulance service going to be involved when you're moving into the hospital?
Yeah, we're going to move.
Y'all going to be quite a bit in depth in it?
Yeah, we're going to, the management team is going to, occurs on a Saturday, so all of the management's coming in on that Saturday, and we're going to start about 5 o'clock in the morning, and hopefully we can be through in about 6 hours. That's our goal.
I know y'all been having a lot of planning going on that.
Finally, the next stage is the number of calls broken down by Commissioners District. That seems to stay relatively static as well. Next page is same information except for year-to-date. Various thank you type notes. One of our ambulance team nominated for public safety person of the week or whatever it is that WGNS does.
Who was that? Frank Green, John Riddle? Okay.
Where they use the station, what station were they at?
I think we got to see that particular time, but I'm not certain on that.
Because I think somebody, I'm assuming the patient or the family is the one who probably nominated them.
You have a resolution from the city of Smyrna concerning the flood.
I see the night vacation stuff has actually went down.
That's gone down, and primarily what you see there now is just spur of the minute type thing. Somebody might want to take a day off tomorrow and just not be able to have it done.
How was that accomplished?
Nicole does all of our scheduling for us, and she's pretty much turned into a magician on some of that stuff. So.
Evidently. Any questions on the report? If there's none, any questions, I entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
You have a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion is carried. Then we're doing a budget transfer.
Yeah, we have a kind of a unique situation. We had a PO approved to convert our repeaters to narrowband and then to retune the voters on the repeaters. We're required to do that by actually 12/31, but we promised them we'd get it done by the end of October. We didn't get it done in time, and so that money went back into the fund balance, and we're wanting to take that money from last year's fund balance and put it back into the account so that we can get that done.
Okay.
It's $3,000.
And this is a federally mandated requirement. It's gotta happen, so I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Yeah, motion and a second. Discussion. Call the roll.
Commissioner Black?
Yes.
Commissioner Daniel?
Yes.
Commissioner Hall?
Aye.
Commissioner Fee?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Sparks?
Yes.
Commissioner Farley?
Yes. Anything else?
Mike, real quick, who does your maintenance on your ambulances?
We have a shop here in the county.
Now, this report right here, this is just for this month, or last month, isn't it? Yeah. Some of that just seems a little high to me, you know, just.
It includes fuel too.
Yeah, I'm just looking at some of these right here, just some of this maintenance, right here, it just seems kind of.
That's total for the whole month, including fuel.
Is it okay? Oh, okay, okay, thanks.
With the fuel, I'd say that's running like they run. It's what, 3 miles a gallon?
Maybe. Thank you.
All right, Paul's report. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. This is a June and 09/010 final report. In June, total intake was 893. It was almost 200 more than the previous month. Breakdown of where those animals come from. We had 154 adoptions, 649 euthanized, 49 reclaimed by owner. adoption reclaim rate for June was 23%, with euthanasia rate at 72%. At the end of June, we had 208 animals still on hand. We've been averaging about 160, I believe, at the end of the month. Previous few months, 2,246 people visited the shelter in June looking for a lost or a new pet. The number of requests for service, that was 1,459. We were able to complete 1,425 calls. Breakdown percentage of where those calls originated from, and the vehicle mileage. For the fiscal to date, our total intake for 09-10 was 8,616. We had 2,010 adoptions, euthanized 5,524 pets, 574 animals were claimed, total out of 8,607. Adoption reclaim rate for the fiscal year was at 30%, with the euthanasia rate at 64%. Had a total of 26,236 people come in the shelter from July 1st of 09 through June 30th of 10. Number of requests for service for the fiscal year was 16,539. Total calls completed, of course, we always have carryover, 16,534, and the percentage of where those calls were, and total mileage for the fiscal. On the next page, that's the rabies exposure and bite report. This is calculated on the calendar year for, I should say, June 2010. We had 32 bites reported. 11 of those animals were tested with no positives. On the other exposure, that was 3 reported, 3 tested, no positives. Total since January, 192 bites reported, 64 tested, 2 counted as positives. They were actually unsatisfactory exposures results. Other exposure, 34 reported, 32 tested, with a total of 3 positives. And then the last 3 pages are just the graphs with the comparison.
It's ironic, and I know I've probably asked this before, or said this before.
The trends.
You look at starting, for the last 4 years, you look in July, and it just keeps taking a nosedive, and it gets into the winter months as far as intake, and then it starts shooting back up for the summer months.
And you'll notice the euthanasia does the same thing. There's less animals coming in, the fewer we have to put to sleep.
And adoptions are
All
basically
of it.
straight,
Yeah, up, down, up, down.
Anybody have any questions? If there's no questions, entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Got a motion, got a second.
Second.
And a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
We've made, Tracy, is yours,
That's me.
that's you, okay.
She can stay for this. She knows, she knows about it. Okay, sometime in June or thereabouts, we got a notice from Griffin Industries, who's been picking up our large dead animals for years, that they were going out of business. So we've been struggling to try to figure out what we're gonna do to stay in business with this service. It turns out that what we've done here is enter into a 6-month arrangement that we're asking for your approval on after the fact, in that the South Central Tennessee Development District, which is 10 counties over there around Columbia and that neighborhood, worked out an arrangement with a company out of Pulaski called Appertain that's going to, for a 6-month period until we can determine if there's a better approach than this, to pick up these large animals for us. So it's a bit more expensive than we've incurred heretofore, but this was the only choice we had. We had no other tools to do this with. And we've met with the Agricultural Committee on 2 or 3 occasions, and they have been involved in this discussion. So what you have here is a request that we go ahead and affirm this 6-month agreement we have with Appertain to pick these animals up, and during that period of time, we'll determine if there's a better approach or some other approaches like composting and so forth will reduce this need, et cetera. So we'll evaluate exactly how many they pick up and what the volume of this is and give us a lot more information on how we can move forward. But we didn't think we should just stop this service, and that was our only alternative, and this is the only approach that we've been able to come up with. So be that as it may, it's turned out that we didn't have any permission to do this, but rather than let the service lapse on July the 2nd, we put this in place. So respectfully, we hope you'll let us go along with this for 6 months.
Well, I think that, I mean, this county needs something because you'll have deer on the road, you'll have cows from farms and stuff, and, you know, it's a health issue, you know, and we need to.
What about the Waste Management Republic out there? What's the deal on that? Are they gonna take the, are they taking?
Animals, this company picks them up.
Right.
And
But
collects
they're-
them over these 10 counties.
Where are they disposing them? Have they got a incinerator or?
At Republic.
Okay.
That's where
But I know we was gonna research the contract. Since it was considered tonnage, I guess.
They're paying so many dollars a ton to, they negotiate the contract. It's either $62 or $65 a ton.
Oh, yeah, but I know that, but I'm talking about the county. They was supposed to accept anything from us as far
But
as.
this is not from us. This is a regional kind of pickup service. It just happens that we're one of the 10 counties that's getting picked up.
Going in on this, going in with them.
We're just one of them.
Right now, I mean, Tracy's department doesn't have a vehicle or anything to pick up something.
Well, that's where I was going. I know we probably more than likely got a vehicle in the county somewhere, truck, something, partnering up with the highway department, maybe. Because I know the highway department has assisted us before, hadn't it? And so, I know excuse me, go ahead. Go ahead, I'm jumping a little ahead.
I did talk to the highway department. They have dump trucks. They don't have a truck with a winch or with a boom to pick it up with. And they weren't really excited about doing this for right now. They prefer to make another arrangement.
What kind of time do they, from when they're contacted to when they pick up, is that in your contract?
I believe it is. It's pretty, provider will provide removal service within 48 hours of notification, 5 days a week, including holidays.
And how much was it for us, Mayor, as far as what they're gonna charge us?
It's going to, for this 6-month period, it's going to cost us $15,000 plus $12,876. It costs us $27,000.
And then 27,000, and then these other 10, they're gonna be paying how much? Are they gonna be paying something similar to what we're gonna be paying?
Similar amounts, probably less since we're bigger with more population and more animals.
Plus, we're further away from Pulaski.
Well, they're not.
That's not part of the
That's
deal?
not part of the additional cost.
Here's my thought on this, just for $27,000. If we hired one employee to do this, if you're looking at a reasonable pay and plus benefits and a vehicle, it's gonna cost us $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 just on, I'm talking about including the vehicle and benefits and all that stuff. I mean, this right here would probably.
This is 6 months.
Well, it's fairly efficient, but we may want to consider that as an additional option to ourselves, but we haven't been able to,
I'm talking about this would be more
to
cost.
put that in place.
I'm talking about this right here would probably be more cost effective.
It's probably.
Than adding.
Well, we already implemented the Public Works Department over at the Highway Department. We're funding that ourselves, right?
And they're not even able to get around to these flooding issues right now.
Well, I mean, how many employees, as far as what we're paying, how many employees are we actually paying for, I guess I'm
At the
trying to
Public
say.
Works?
Yeah, at the Public Works.
It's 3 or 4 of them. It's a smaller number, and like I say, we're way behind on
I don't know about in your area, but in my district, there's bunch of drainage problems that have taken a back seat. And it's on matter of fact, in planning today, Dale Corbett talked about there's 100 people on the waiting list to get drainage problems fixed. And with the Public Works Department, I think they need to be working on public works issues as far as in these drainage easements than out here picking up
I mean, we're not talking about an animal every day, Commissioner.
Yeah,
We're talking about maybe every so often.
You'd be
You know, we're
surprised,
talking, how many we average, how many you say they average?
Well,
10?
I have that information here, just a moment, let me see.
I just don't want to see us fall into paying this.
It's,
I mean, I see it's getting higher and
It's
higher and higher.
about 250 to 275 a year is what it's been running.
All right.
So
That's almost one a day.
It's about 20 or plus a month,
Yeah.
20 to 25 a month.
Didn't Griffin, didn't they pick up within 24 hours?
I don't know.
I thought.
No.
That's what, they didn't? Well, weren't they supposed to?
Yes.
Okay. And did they know, they picked up more than 5 days a week, didn't they?
I'm not sure about
about
that.
that.
They had some employee problems at times, and, you know, I'm not bad mouthing them or anything. I just know from experience that, no, they didn't have a one-day turnaround. That's why I asked that question.
Mayor, how much were we paying, Griffin,
30,000,
for the whole year?
roughly,
So
yeah.
right now, we're paying that much in 6 months.
I think under the circumstances,
Yeah,
if
well,
we
we
didn't
did
have a choice, and like I said, you hadn't really lived till you've had a dead animal right in front of your house, so I'm gonna make a motion to go ahead and approve this 6-month contract that the mayor's got.
Second.
We got a motion and a second on the floor. Our discussion.
Is there a state mandated ordinance that we provide this service?
No, sir.
It's just a service we've always done?
It's a service our citizens just come to expect. Some counties are not doing anything, I'll be honest with you. Some are doing some. So it's all over the map out there what other counties are doing. But we think with as many neighborhoods that we have in the vicinity of farms and large animals, it's not like we've got a lot of just pure old agriculture. We've got a lot of other residential intermixed in with that, and we just think it's, right now, we think it was the right thing to do. Now we may want to change our mind and work through this over the next
6 months.
5 months.
5 months.
Not much we got to.
I'm on both for this for 5 months, but after that, renegotiate it. I got some reservations about it myself, but
Is this countywide?
Yes, sir.
I'm talking cities and everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's for large animals, it's not for dogs and cats and those.
Deer are all over the place in this
That's
county.
right.
Well, it really gets to be a public safety issue and a health issue.
Yeah.
You've got dead animals that are, laying around. And then you get an issue where you may have a large animal that on a public highway, could cause an accident.
You got roads in this county, both in cities and the county, that have no shoulders. If you're on a dark night, and there it is, and there's the dead animal, where are you gonna swerve? You're gonna wind up hitting it. So,
Right.
and the animals, if they sit there a while, because people aren't gonna go out and pull them off. I don't think, maybe a couple of guys with tractors will get them off the side of the road. That's
And a
about
lot of
all I
people,
can
if
see.
you got a dead cow out there on the road, ain't too many people going home up to whose it is.
Well, of course, now this, animals that are dying in place on the farm, the farmers have to call in and request a pickup. That's where most of the animals are coming from.
All right,
They're not out on the road or
No.
something of that sort.
Except for the deer, I mean, everything else is pretty much
Well,
animals that die on farm
Right.
premises.
All right, we got a motion and a second on the floor. If there's no other discussion, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Got one no.
make it 2 no's.
You want to call the roll?
Yeah, call the roll.
Call the roll.
Mayor, does this go to budget?
Yes.
Commissioner Black,
No.
Commissioner Daniel,
Yes.
Commissioner Hall,
No.
Commissioner P,
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer,
yes.
Commissioner Sparks,
Yes.
Commissioner Farley.
Yes. All right.
It means we don't pick up any
Thank you, Mayor.
Water Hill.
Next is correctional work center report.
in there on beer or something. Just stand up there.
Okay. We're gonna come up with the, thank you, sir. Who's gonna come up with the solutions? And they're looking into it. I think
How you doing with that?
Lieutenant? Keep it going.
Thanks.
You know, make sure it's making progress. Public Works, we should make sure it's making progress.
I'm gonna be getting on public works. I'm gonna be getting on public works right after this.
Oh, you're involved in that? That's right.
Your report pretty much is showing the progression of the population, work crews. Our programs are up, as you can see at the bottom of the page. One of our main goals is the work center. Population took a little curve. We went down a little bit, but that's probably going to pick back up coming this fall. So it's just one of those things that happens during the summertime.
You get out on summer break.
Yeah, exactly. The second page is the monthly worker report. Pretty much, this is one for June. And based on the work crews and the manpower hours, estimated total savings was approximately $192,000 that we saved the county.
And that's actually, say, the county, the city of Murfreesboro, town of Smyrna, and Laverne, Eagleville, Rutherford County. Trying to get real dollars.
Yes. Yes, it was. This is the road trash pickup for the month of May. We're still tallying June's. At the board meeting, some of the things that we addressed was we had some security issues with one agency, and you see Mr. Templeton with Murfreesboro Streets. He came and expressed his concerns and some of the things they have worked on to alleviate some of the problems we were having with that agency, and myself and the board agreed that they were going in the right direction, so we worked that out. Mr. McNolan with Solid Waste, he also showed up at the board meeting to discuss, we want to start a apprentice program for the inmates, because as you can see, they're going out to work at these details every day, doing a service and also learning a skill. So we want to implement an apprentice program, so at least they can show they did something while they were incarcerated. Give them a certificate that'll help them get employment once they get released. Once again, alleviate the repeat offender situation that we're all facing. And he's gonna help us out with that, so that was a great help.
Exchange Club works with y'all a lot, don't they?
They conduct a parenting program, which is a great program, I have to say.
Is there anybody that does like, you know, job skills, interviewing skills, or helping fill out a resume, or?
We have one of the programs we have is called Life and You, and it covers a lot of different aspects, and it covers that a little bit. I talked to Exchange Program and also United Way to kind of help out with, you know, doing that, come in and actually give a class on resumes and how to conduct interviews, so we're still working on that project.
Is that, Sheriff, they do the same thing with y'all too?
We have life skills and a number of other projects. Actually, we're going to We're working with someone now who's probably gonna come in and help us with some other things, so. It's a continuing expansion of all the positive things that we can do for them, those that are willing to try to make an effort.
On your GED, I noticed it was real low in June, which also your population lower too, but what incentives or what can you do to encourage people to go through that?
What we definitely want to do, and you want to see that number probably double, is start giving them some kind of credit towards their sentence for actually completing it and graduating. So we're in a meeting with adult ed to implement that, and they agreed, and so that's going to start in the fall, or probably in another 3 weeks when GED classes start back up. But they take off for the summer, so they'll just like a regular school schedule. That's how the GED program runs.
What is that? What's the cost of an inmate for something like that?
For the actual test?
Yeah,
I think
just to complete the GED.
Well, it doesn't cost them anything to go through the course, but when they actually get to the end and are qualified to take the test, I believe it costs like $57, I believe. And if they can't get the money with their family, there's always sponsors and aid to help get that. So we've never had anybody not take the test because they don't have the money.
The wonderful thing that you're doing there, especially getting on GED to help them get jobs when they stay out. Just out of curiosity, you said that you were looking at reducing their sentences. Is that something you've worked through with our local judges, or how did y'all come to the decision you could do that?
Well, you give them credits. You can give them credits for certain aspects of what they take while they're incarcerated. And GED is one of those things that's recognized. The TDOC used to do it. So, it's one of those things we can and cannot do sometimes. At one point we had stopped doing it, but, we figured that, to me it's more incentive for them to actually get in the program. At the end of the day, getting education is what it's all about anyway. So.
Exactly. I mean, I applaud you for doing it. I was just curious as to the mechanism, so.
Yeah, whatever it takes to try to help them out so they stop doing the same thing and keep coming back.
Well, with that GED program, with those type of life skills and stuff like that, it helps that recidivism rate, come down, and because it costs a lot of money for us to incarcerate inmates.
Oh, yes. And for most of them, it's probably the only thing they ever really accomplished in their adult lives is getting that GED. So it's really a great thing for them to do.
Well, people at home are not looking at the figures that we're seeing there, but your head count for the year was almost 80,000. That's what, man hours? Is that how you figure that? Is that an exact count of how many people you had on a daily basis?
Right. It's more the man hours that they actually spend in there.
Any questions?
Let me ask you, Lieutenant, is there any, do you know any programs that the schools offer as far as, and this may sound kind of crazy, but as far as taking an inmate or trustee or someone that's went through, has been in jail or been in the workhouse, and having their story shared in the school system, or is there anything like that being done, Sheriff? Do you know?
We have done some things, I don't remember as far as just in the school system during the regular school hours. I can't think of anything.
When I was with the sheriff's department, we approached the school board about that. They kind of frowned at that, having inmates actually come in there. So, but they've had kids come in and do tours. Because my thing, I like what you're talking about, but and I understand they're part of it. But at some point, there got to be some kind of medium where we can, have them interact. But right now, the school board is not there.
I mean, if you've got trustees, if you have somebody that you feel confident, you've got deputies there. This is a growing, this drug problem we got is growing, and it's an epidemic. And I think Rick could attest to that. I mean, Sheriff, you talked at Rotary the other day about some of the problems that we're seeing. This Mexican drug cartel that's coming up. Atlanta has surpassed Miami, is what I'm hearing. And it's moving in. I just feel like if there's a way that you can get in the schools, just to, at least maybe it's on with a video or something, that just share them with some of these kids. And you can't just get them at the high school year. You got to catch them in the 8th grade.
I remember
catch them younger.
I mean, interrupt you, but I remember back, at one point we had problems where they were having some of the trustees go work and do the jobs at the juvenile detention. I think it's a law, you can't have an inmate around any juveniles. I mean, they can't see those type of people if they're incarcerated, so the law won't even allow you to do that. Is that correct?
They can't interact in a certain way, like the tours, when they usually come in, they can look inside of like a window or something and actually see them, but to get real close, no, that's.
Yeah, I know we had to stop the working down at the juvenile detention where we had inmates from the workhouse were going out there, you know, to do like the odd job stuff.
I mean, even if that's the case, if you couldn't do that, and it may be so, you know, at least maybe video their stories, you know, and some of these kids may be able to relate to it, because I'm telling you, it's, like Gary said, it's costing us a lot of money to house these folks, and it's just getting worse. It's just getting worse. I had one of you over there at the sheriff's department. I was talking to one of the officers, and he told me, he said, if a kid is not full of drugs, he said they're in the minority if they're not doing it. And his words were, the majority of your young people are doing drugs, or they're alcohol or marijuana or something. He said the majority. That's what he told me. He said, and if you're clean as a teenager, he said that's the minority these days, which it's sad that it's gotten that way.
I wouldn't put my bank on that one, though. I wouldn't. And we still have a lot of good kids. And I still say the majority of the kids in our school system are really good kids. They're out trying to do the things that they have been taught, and they still have respect. That's the majority of the kids. I mean, if it was the way that you're explaining to me,
yes, sir,
our SROs would have more in their hands full right now.
Yeah.
So the majority of the kids are good kids. I mean, we're still living in a great community. It's just one of those things that the drug industry has grown, but thank goodness we still live in a community where they still have respect, they still honor their mothers and their fathers, those that are fortunate to have a good home life. And thank goodness we have the SROs that are in the schools that are also good role models, and the law enforcement officers in every city. You know, law enforcement officers today, they're just not out there just working the streets. They're out there trying to make a difference. They really are. And I think in this particular community, we're blessed to live there.
Yeah.
I'd like to back the sheriff up. I would not say that would be a true statement at all from what I have to deal with on a daily basis. Do we have crime? Yes, we have crime, but I attest it to our poor planning. We've rubber stamped through in these municipalities as well as the county, and what problem we've had we gave to ourselves. Is there programs of things we can probably do more? Yeah, but I think for the dollar that we spend and what we get out of the vast majority of these kids with our testing scores, graduation rates, I think we're doing a real good job. But I wouldn't say that the majority of the kids are using dope or alcohol or anything.
I'm just going by what I've heard. I mean, I talked to a DA the other day, and he's told me that this Mexican drug stuff in Mexico is serious business. And we need to wake up to it. And what I don't want to do is be one of these people that said, you know what, I seen that problem and I didn't speak up on it. To me, if we can get in the school system, and if we save one, it's like what Mother Teresa said, if you can't feed 99, feed one. If we just help one, it'll make a difference. And I know you're out there, Lieutenant, you know, I see these programs, I'm seeing what you're doing here, and I applaud you for it. But I just, if you could ask, that's all I'm saying, if y'all could ask if there is a way that we couldn't reach these kids in the schools. Maybe it is just a video, if you can't go in there physically, you know.
You would be surprised at the number of hours that, not only we, but I know Smyrna's been in there, but we spend an enormous amount of time in the classroom in Rutherford County, teaching the things to be looking out for, what not to do. I mean, the particular areas to stay away from. It's one of those situations where we give them probably, we're almost to an overload.
Yes, sir.
We're always pounding it into them. We start from your kindergarten, grade 1 on up, and then we make it more intense as we get into the middle school and the high school level. So it becomes down to choices, and we give them the best opportunity in the world to make a proper choice. And then from then on, unfortunately, then it's strictly up to them. And hopefully, inside their home.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any more questions for Solandy here?
Move to approve this report.
Got a motion, do I have a second? Second. Got a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion is carried. Thank you. Sheriff Department report. Waiting patiently.
Okay, we have 3 budget amendments on this one. The first one is to move some money in our special purpose fund, $15,000 into our 319 confidential account, $3,000 into our 499 other charges. The second amendment is to transfer $9,660. That's from our donations from last year, just put them into this year's accounts. And then the last transfer is for $19,188, and that's from the sale of the old cars, and we want to put that back into our vehicle account.
And that special purposes fund is for asset forfeitures, right? Okay, I just don't want anybody thinking it was a special fund out there.
Oh.
So moved.
That's
We need a motion,
public
Mr.
comment
Chairman.
or-
So moved.
I got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Just a second. Board Commissioner, I'm sorry.
Your comment, well, there's certain public commenter people that are always listening in, coming in, I think misguidedly in some cases.
Right. All right, any questions on the motion? Call roll.
Commissioner Black?
Yes.
Commissioner Daniel?
Yes.
Commissioner Hall?
Yes.
Commissioner Fee?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Sparks?
Yes.
Commissioner Farley?
Yes. And on your,
I have 2 more budget.
okay.
This is on the grants that we had last year. This is just moving the money left over from the grant last year into the grant for this year.
Okay.
I'll do a motion to approve. Is that all right, we're taking both?
Yeah, we'll do both at the same time.
Motion approved.
Got a motion to approve the, it's basically the JAG Bourbon grant, correct?
Yes, one is the JAG Burn and the other is the JAG Aura.
Okay. Is there a second to the motion?
I second.
There's no second.
Which one you need?
This is the one that we had, where we're splitting with the city of Murfreesboro and the county and
Yeah.
like Smyrna, Laverne and all that.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions? Call roll.
Commissioner Black?
Yes.
Commissioner Daniel?
Yes.
Commissioner Hall?
Yes.
Commissioner Fee?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Sparks?
Yes.
Commissioner Farley?
Yes.
And that's it, that's the report.
And the report basically, this is July, and so pretty good shape.
We're doing good.
All right. You want to look over the report and entertain a motion?
So moved.
Got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
And a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion is carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just want to let you know, school resource officers are in Florida. 11 of them are, and they're receiving the top award for the nation again.
That's good.
Great.
That's good. Hey, how many years has that happened?
I know it's won 4 or 5 national awards, at least.
I know when that program first started, it was, you know, people were coming across from all over the United States to look at y'all's program out there. And,
Still on.
so it's,
We're very fortunate. They do a good job.
They do.
Excellent job. And the good thing about it is the school system works well with them, and the law enforcement agencies work well with them, and it couldn't be better.
Right.
It just shows that when you have an open communication with everybody, it makes everything so much more efficient.
On this award, is there several that are ranked, several areas ranked number one, so to speak, that maybe there's 10 or 20?
This was actually, NASRO is the number one, is the group that controls the SROs across the country. But this is actually an outside award that they said that they were the best. And they're always coming up. Mike was talking about programs. They have new programs they start every year because they've been in it so long and they see everything that is happening within each school. Of course, each school is just like each different community. And as they see things, they get together and they say, what can we do to make this particular situation a whole lot more bearable, or what we can do to make it work out. And it's just a continuing effort. They really do. I hope someday, of course that's the dream, and I hope someday we can have our own boot camp here. But right now we do it on Saturdays. We do it at the sheriff's office. But that's one of the things that we're talking about, gangs and things like that. That's where you get your kids that really should not be in the public school system, and then you're able to put them in there, and then through extra hard work, then hopefully you can get them where they turn around and actually make good citizens out of it.
They also, during that time that they're there, get a chance to interact with inmates and hear the stories and things. When those students are identified by the SROs, they participate in that program.
It's volunteer now.
Yeah.
And not only do the children have to volunteer, but also the parents also. They both go through the school.
All right.
And I appreciate you guys working well with us for this whole year. We can't do it without you.
All right. Appreciate y'all. Emergency Management Agency report. I think you got it on the table in front of you.
There's just a couple of things I want to bring your attention to. One is that we're working with the Sheriff's Office and the other police departments on the CERT program. I think it's a good program to help get citizens trained to basically take care of themselves in a disaster or an emergency while they're waiting for the responders to get to them. It's a good program, and I'm glad to see that I think the Sheriff's Office is actually leading it up, and it should go far in this community. And the other thing is on the 10th of July, we had the UASI interoperability communications exercise, and we don't have a written final report on that. But it looks favorable that we have proven our interoperability capabilities, and I hope to be able to bring a report next month. Hopefully we'll have the written final on that.
Are we going to have a county one?
An exercise on the counties? Yes, sir. And that's all part of our overall training, is to work to make sure that each of the municipalities and their agencies, the law enforcement and fire and all, public works wise, will be able to communicate. And we believe that our system is in place that will do that.
Well, we just had the floods in May, and I just felt it ironic we left municipalities out of doing this training class when we should have had them involved in it.
On what training class?
On this thing that we had for the Uncle Dave Macon Days. We passed on. I noticed Smyrna wasn't there and Laverne wasn't there, and when the May floods occurred, I think it was one of our issues was communication. And we weren't even there.
It really wasn't a training exercise. It was we were being graded for the entire UASI. So it really wasn't.
Wasn't it on communication?
Yes,
Wasn't
sir.
it on communication?
Yes, sir.
That's my point. Why we don't have all of our agencies involved in that? County as a whole. We had ambulance service, Murfreesboro Police and Fire, and who else for the Rutherford County? Volunteer fire departments?
It was the Uncle Dave Macon Day Murfreesboro City event, and then we had to bring in agencies from outside the county within the UASC for this. It was a federal exercise or drill. It wasn't for Rutherford County and for all of its resources.
You understand my point?
Sure,
I've been here for
I do.
4 years, and we've not done one exercise whatsoever, and the point, in 4 years, we do have one exercise. There's municipalities and other agencies that are left out of it.
Well, it wasn't an exercise just for the municipalities, but in every one of the exercises we do, communications is one of those things that we do address. And it is, I feel that we do have, and we have made that commitment and that capability of having interoperability.
I'm just making a point.
I understand.
I know it didn't work, and the floods in May, and if we had a flood tomorrow, we haven't addressed those issues. This CERT thing that we've got is I'm seeing a benefit the other day for a Blackman emergency response team. Are they aware of this CERT thing that we're trying to start?
Blackman Emergency Response Team.
Yeah, they had a benefit just a week ago. I got an invitation for it.
That was a Blackman Methodist Church.
Yeah, they got a reaction team, or they're trying to start.
Yeah.
I don't know, I thought it was a support process for the flood victims, but I may have missed something.
I think, now, don't hold me, but I know Bart Smith, I think goes out there, but I think that was that church and different churches like that have a response team that goes out into aid. And I think that what they were doing, they were having that pancake breakfast to be able to raise funds, to be able to provide.
Like a Box 100 type thing, is that
Kind of,
right?
yeah.
I don't know if it's Box 100 or just are they going to provide food,
Yeah.
replacement
Well,
clothing,
kind of like,
furniture.
yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was more in that kind of line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
I don't think they have a Box 100, no, not that approach.
But they aid victims and things like that. It's the way I took
Have
it.
them rebuild,
Relocate
Right.
and stuff.
relocate.
Well, Roger, on the 22nd, the training listed there, 22nd of July, it says the staff attended the crime scene WMD course in Lebanon. What kind of WMDs was that
Weapons of
dealing
mass
with?
destruction,
Like, yeah, but like nukes?
just terrorist events.
Okay.
Dealing with chemicals or weapons of mass destruction.
Well, as you know, from the time I was elected, I've been asking questions now and then about, our total civil defense area, and haven't gotten much in the way of answers, not from you, but from on high. They're not doing that much, apparently.
Well, it's a refresher. This was an awareness level class, and I had people go to it to, number one, to find out just what was being put out on this awareness level, and then for updating on the training that we already have. And this was a class that was put on by ODP, and it was very basic, part of what we did on the emergency response to terrorism classes. So it was kind of a repeat of things, but a good refresher. There's a lot of training that goes on year-round and for different agencies, law enforcement, special, or fire, or just first responders, et cetera, throughout this state. And we try to participate, and we get, when these things come out, and to all the agencies aware of these classes so that they can go to them if they have the time, and or if they have to register a year out or whatever. We have some classes that leave this state and go to Arizona and New Mexico for some real advanced training in explosives and things of that type. And so we try to do the best we can and make it as many of those type classes that we could, or at least make the people available who could benefit from it.
So that they will know what to do when we get into situations that we don't even like to think about.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Entertain a motion on the reports.
Move to approve.
Got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Got a second. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's carried.
Thank you.
Drug court report.
Oh, what about the rescue report? I thought that, yeah, the fire coordinators, I thought that was, I do have a question or so on the response times. Okay, is that from when? They said it's dropped from 15 to 17 minutes to 7.5 is what he's got down. And is that from when the call is received at the site, at the
On the site,
station?
they're paged out until they're on the site. It has really changed because of disbursement of the rescue vehicles.
I was looking at the times on there, and there's, I think, the earliest one during daylight is like 3:08 p.m., you know, a little after 3 o'clock. So I'm wondering how, I guess what I'm asking is how are they getting the people to go to it at those times from the different units? That must, you know, because there's kind of scattered to the different ones there late in the afternoon. And that was the problem, a big problem that we had was daylight because people working their regular jobs.
A lot of the volunteer departments that are having these rescue units are actually having people come and staying at the station, like on their off time and nights and things like that, so that they can make a quick response. And it's worked out well.
And all these people that are doing this rescue are EMTs or paramedics?
They're, well, there may not be an EMT or a paramedic, but they're getting their training on it, and they're with the ambulance service. When they get out, they're volunteer firemen.
Most of them have TARS.
Yeah, they're getting that training.
Certified in that.
But if the medical aspect of it, they can go ahead and, if the ambulance isn't on the scene, they can go ahead and extract them?
In a lot of cases, we do have EMTs in these volunteer fire departments as well. I can't tell you at each one what it is, but the ambulance service is there very rapidly as well. And so the manpower to do the extrication and
What a lot of them are doing, they're manning these stations where, like, and it's basically scheduling. If they got a group of individuals that doesn't work during the day, they're scheduling those people around, and they're volunteering their time to come and man those rescue trucks. The dispatch times, the way dispatches are done, or response times, they take it from the time that the call is dispatched.
Okay.
And is where the response time starts, because the call taker or the dispatcher will take that time. That's normally 2 to 3 minutes sometimes by the time that call comes in. And that dispatcher picks up, our call taker takes that call 2 to 3 minutes to look up where this district it may be, or find out what units are going, and then once that unit is dispatched, that's when that dispatch or response time starts in. And on average, it's about 2 minutes for that person to get information and then be able to find the information to dispatch that call.
Many of these firefighters over the years too have been certified as first responders.
Right.
So,
Okay. Yeah.
CPR, you
So
know,
they can do the basics if they
right.
get the, okay.
You know, they're training them, and they're taking their time, and a lot of them have paid out of their own pockets to get first responders certified, to get extrication certified. So, it's already shown for itself, the response time going from 15 to 17 minutes to 7.5. And what a lot of times, that helps that right there, like for example, out there in the Commissioner P and Commissioner Black's district, a lot of times that rescue truck would be coming from College Street over on Nashville Highway to get to their area, and you're talking about a 25 to 30-minute response time, when right now, there's a truck out in the Kittrell area that's responding, and that's why the response times are reduced almost more than half.
I've had to call Laverne before.
Yeah. So that's where it's helped the citizens out there and benefited them to help save their lives and property and those things, so.
One more question. Then. The two Rutherford County fire stations, their locations, the station, Rescue 7 and Rescue 41.
It's the Salem Blackman Station
Okay.
and the Rutherford County Volunteer Fire Department station that's over off of Salem. Those are the two right now. And they're also running a rescue unit and fire apparatus out of the old rescue squad building.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Kittrell's supposed to pick up one on the September 1st.
Yes,
So
September.
you'll have another one coming out there.
They're finishing their extrication training and all now.
No, you quit.
Yeah, that's I just thought we were going to get a separate one like normal on that.
Larry's busy. I've got that training class going in Kittrell right now too, and that's where I'm headed.
Thank you, Rob.
All right, thank you.
Thanks. Drug court.
I never know. Sometimes I think I'm going to be first and I come in and somebody's here. Whatever. Okay, I was just reading journals. They're so funny. 4 for you guys. And then 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I really don't have much of a report, but what I do want to tell you, these figures are from last week, so just a week ago, and we did take in a new participant today, so we actually have 46 participants. DUI court remains the same. What I need to tell you we're struggling with is that we've got 4 people that have already been approved to come in. We're just waiting for their court dates. We approved 3 more people today to come in, and they should be coming in either this week or next Monday. And then Angie and I have still got 5 more. Their background checks came back, so we're still doing assessments with them to see if they're appropriate or not. Plus, we have a bunch of background checks that haven't come back, and we're waiting to process those. All that to say, we're going to be over 50, which is our capacity. I'm not asking for anything. I'm just telling y'all that we're going to be crazy over there. We're going to try to do the best we can. We've talked about 3 or 4 different options. One was, of course, a waiting list. But if you accept somebody into drug court and then put them in jail, that's pretty, you don't want them to get discouraged, and probably some of them will say, well, the heck with this, I'll just flatten my time. We talked about possibly putting them on probation, letting them go through probation, but Tom didn't like that idea. We talked about...
So you'd have a lot sign up then, wouldn't you?
What, if we put them on probation? I don't know what. But we're just going to try and work with it. But quite honestly, we are so overwhelmed with work as it is that it's just going to be really tough. And if this continues, you know, I might come back and say, I've got to have another person. I don't know. I mean, we want to help people, but I don't know what to do, and maybe you all have an idea. I hate to turn people down. I think it would hurt the program if we quit taking people, you know, because then the thing would get out where they're not taking people anymore, and it takes a while to get over that, you know. This is the first time we've ever had to do this. We got up to 55 once, several years ago, but then I think we had a graduation, so we were okay. This time, we're not going to have a graduation until December, when we have the state conference. We're having our graduation in conjunction with the state conference. So it's very possible we could get up to 60 or 70 people in the next couple of months.
That's a good thing.
That's a good
When you come
thing.
up with the problems, don't come back to us.
Okay.
Maybe we can't help.
One thing we've talked about, of course, we are working on this conference for the state in December, and I've told my staff, we were originally going to do all the work for it. One of the things we may have to do is take all that back and give it to the board members of the TADCP and say, you know, we need some help. You know, we can't do it all ourselves. So that's another option that will relieve us somewhat. And the state report is due at the end of this month, which is next week. And I think once that is turned in, that'll be helpful too, because we all get very nervous around state report time, trying to get the figures right and everything for DUI and drug court. So we're just busy little beavers. You ought to come over and see us sometime. Give us a little pat on the shoulder.
Mary, you think the
How many?
problem's getting worse?
I don't know if the problem's getting worse or if there finally is some good talk about drug court out there. The people I've been interviewing are saying that they've talked to people in the jail that got kicked out of the program, and that people told them it was a really good program. So there's some people that are telling really good stuff about us finally. You know, before it was all, oh, we heard you just kick everybody out and y'all don't really care about us. And I was telling people, well, that's ridiculous. How would I get grants if we were kicking everybody out? You know, that didn't make any sense.
Yeah,
So,
you know, years ago, I went to one of y'all's graduations,
Mhm.
and I liked the work that the judge, you know, and I know you can tell he cares about it.
Yes, he does.
In fact, I carried my kids, a couple other kids up here, and, you know, to hear those people's stories,
Mhm.
that can really influence
Mhm.
some of these young people.
Mhm.
And you have probably heard me talking to the sheriff and lieutenant earlier about, to see if you could not get those stories in the school system somehow. You know, what's your thoughts on that?
well, the school system has a policy that if you have a felony, you cannot come and talk in the
Okay.
school. So that does.
But even if it was on video and it was
Well,
shot.
that would be different. We could do that. We could do that.
You know, it just seems like it's getting worse and worse. And this isn't just people in trailer court. These are people that
Oh,
live in
no.
High Dollar Subdivision.
Oh, yeah.
Smyrna, Laverne, Eagleville,
Oh, yeah.
Rockville, Walter Hill.
Yeah,
all
it's
over.
everywhere. Yeah, it's everywhere.
And you see grandparents
Mhm.
raising
Mhm.
these kids,
Mhm.
and it's just devastating.
Well, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, we had a fellow just last week that got rearrested because he stole his grandfather's Xanax. See, your grandparents are on prescription medication, and the grandsons and daughters know that. And so they filed a charge against him, which they had to. I understand that. But, you know, they see their elders doing it, so they think it's okay. I mean, prescription drugs are a huge, huge problem, just huge.
They never stole it but one time from me.
Excuse me?
From my grandfather. That'd been it.
Oh, yeah.
He beat the.
Well, he's on Xanax, so he's very calm. He's a very calm grandfather.
They just beat you up calmly, you know.
Jim, do you have something you want to say?
No. Well, other than testimony,
Mhm.
one way or another seems to me to be the most effective communication.
I agree.
I've noticed kids in places where, like at a church, where
Mhm.
we didn't have the prohibition,
Mhm.
they'd really pay close attention.
And a lot of our people are reaching out to other people. They want to mentor, they want to work with youth, because that's when they started, and they know how devastating it's been. So we do see a lot of our people get involved at the church level. We've got several women that are involved in the Celebrate Recovery program in a lot of the Baptist churches. And I think they're doing a lot of stuff with youth groups as well. So they want to give back. They really do. They're very excited about their sober lives. And they want people to know that it's really fun to be sober.
Well, I know I've certainly found that when I come to your graduations, it's a very inspiring experience.
Are you going to try to, well, y'all going to try to get with IT and video that?
Well, this next one, the one in December, will be out at Embassy Suites. I'm going to see if Embassy Suites will film it for us. We'll probably have to pay for it, but I think that will, because that's our 10th anniversary and graduation and our state conference and everything. The mayor will be there, and I mean, it's just going to be a big deal. I hope you guys will come too. I want the commissioners will all be invited as well. I mean, we're going to have over 300 people there, so I would like that to be taped. But I think definitely we'll work with Brian. If we can find a night that we're not coinciding with you all, then I think they would do it. It's just that last one, you know, y'all were having a meeting too and your priorities, so.
If you get a list of all the ones that's graduated from now to.
Oh, yeah.
From, say,
all
5 years back.
178 of them.
Really?
How many?
178.
Okay.
And 17 in the DUI court. Oh, yeah, we keep up.
You know, I seen a guy today that was over at Walmart, and he was cleaning his windshield, you know. He was in a wheelchair, and he was trying to reach, he couldn't reach, you know, and I pulled through there, and I went over and asked if he needed some help, and I, you know, started cleaning his window but for him, and I said, what happened, you know, what happened to your paralysis? And he said, drinking and driving when I was in the military. And he was about my age, and he had a good attitude about it, worked for the VA, and, you know, just, when you hear a story like that, that ought to make you think about drinking and driving, you know. So it's just, it's sad when you see these hardships like that.
Yeah.
Is there any questions or comments on the report? Motion to approve. Got a motion, and we have a second. All in favor of that motion, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
The only other thing, if you don't mind, I would like to announce that we're having our 5th annual Rally for Recovery, Saturday, August 21st. It is a 5K run and fun walk. This is coordinated by our Support Foundation, our 501c3, and it is the only fundraiser we have every year. And you can either get on the drug court website, which is through the county system, or you can go to active.com and register. And we would love to have anybody come and play. And we're going to have it at the Gateway Reception Island again. So it's a wonderful thing. Thank you very much.
Get with WGNS though, probably.
We are. In fact, they're going to interview me, I think, next week. But you guys look so healthy. You look like you could run 3.3 miles at 6:30 in the morning.
I feel like I've been running.
All right.
Okay, thank you very much.
Is there any other business to come before the committee tonight?
Make a motion that we adjourn.
We got a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Second. All right, we're adjourned. Thank y'all.